everyone. Welcome to Engaged Citizens. I'm your host, Sharrie Ryan. Today, I'm so excited. I am meeting with Mayor Bob Brajcich, who is running for re-election for mayor for Clatskanie, Oregon. Welcome, Bob.
Thank you.
Yes,
It's
I'm
good
so
to see
glad you're
you.
here. We've had some technical difficulties that we've powered through and figured out. So we're just going to get right to it. I just want to, ask the first question of just tell us a little bit about yourself, how long you've lived in Clatskanie and that kind of stuff.
Okay. I am very local. I was born in Astoria. My first home was in Clifton, Oregon, which is down by, out you go over the hill at Bradley Park and go down to the river. It was a fishing town. I did not live by the river. I lived on the river on the docks. My father was a fisherman. My grandfather was a fisherman, and my great grandfather were fishermen.
Wow.
I moved to Clatskanie in 1965 when I was in the sixth grade. I started school at Westport and graduated from Clatskanie High School.
Mm. Wow.
Um, After high school, I was working for Dean Tweet, one of the most wonderful men in the world at Dean Shell. And after a couple of years, I crossed the street, went big move, and worked for Jack Jordan at Reitman Motors. Jack gave me an apprenticeship, and that's how I became an auto mechanic.
Okay. Okay.
And
Trying to get my light to
I
go
met
away.
my wonderful, wonderful wife and got married in 1975. And we had three children. They're all grown now. They all live in Columbia County. Nick's in St. Helens, and Elisha and Cassie are both living in the Clatskanie area.
Nice. Oh my goodness.
After Reitman's shut down, I worked for the school district for 6 years. And after that, I finished up my working days at the Wana Mill, working in the Wana Mill truck shop. I worked there for 27 years.
Wow, my goodness. You are
That's
like Columbia County. Your kiddos are
yeah,
the
we're
whole
Columbia.
fam bam.
I am a local.
Yeah. Well, what do you love about Clatskanie, Bob?
Well, Clatskanie is actually a big town to me because it's the biggest town I ever lived in. But I love small towns. I love the
Mm,
community, my friends, my family. You know, you can go to the store, you know everybody. If I go get
yeah.
coffee and I don't have any money on me, they said, that's okay, Bob. You can come back and pay me this afternoon. I love
Right.
sitting out on my deck, and you know where I live.
Yes.
I've lived there for 46 years now. And I can look down the park and I watch the kids play baseball in the spring, go
Yes.
fishing in the summer, and playing soccer in the fall. And
Oh,
I know all my neighbors, and I'm not afraid to ask them for a cup of sugar. So that's the kind of thing that I love.
that is it's priceless, isn't it? I
Yes.
agree. I agree. Well, what made you run for re-election? I know you've been the mayor for, almost 6 years now. And what made you decide to run for re-election?
Well, you know, I was thinking about not running. I like change. I like to see everybody get involved in our community.
Yeah.
But there are so many people that said, "Well, Bob, we're a little disappointed in you," and that loyalty and that support, you know,
Mm,
motivated me because I don't want to do it unless I'm full in.
yeah.
So I'm full in.
That's awesome. So you did it for the people that elected you before and that have stood by
Yes.
you, and you're like, okay, they're like, hey, Bob, we want you to run again. Um, what qualifications do you possess to be the mayor of Clatskanie?
Well, you know, it's a long life experiences,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
and working with, you know, businesses and knowing about budgets and cost and all those
Mm,
things. And then personally, I think that I do well with making relationships and working with people, you know, personal friends with all the mayors throughout the county and
yeah.
the port commissioners and the county commissioners and all the different agencies. We have a really good relationship. And Greg, the city manager, is the same way. Greg has does great working with everybody else, all the agencies through the state, and
Yeah,
that's a real asset at times. I know
definitely, right?
Betsy
Relationships.
and Brad, Betsy and Brad, our senator and representative, have been a great help to
Yeah,
us.
yeah, that's great. So you just relationships and having those connections is
Yes,
really important, you know?
and I'm able to take criticism well. So
You're open for it.
yeah, I'm open for criticism. I understand that it's not personal, and
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
get my feathers ruffled.
That's great. It also comes with age, doesn't it? Like I sit there, I'm like, I
Yeah.
hit 40 and something just kind of snapped, you know, it just kind of kicked in, right? With age comes that
Yes.
wisdom.
Oh yes. Yes. I couldn't
Mhm.
have done this at 25.
Right? So
No.
what, like, you know, when you think of Clatskanie, what do you think are like the top priorities in Clatskanie that you know, want to continue to address or that have come up? And what are those kind of top priorities that you're looking at?
Well, when I listen to the people, it's safety.
Mhm.
Highway 30, 4 lanes, a lot of traffic, and it splits our town in half is a
Yes.
major concern. We have made some improvement. We improved the crosswalk. It used to be a dark hole, the one down by Safeway that goes across to the um, Chevron station, which it
Yeah.
is now. Um, we got flashing signs in Island, and it was an improvement, but it's still scary and still hazardous. We're going to
Mhm.
make an improvement to our crosswalk on the Halem, our only intersection with the light.
Yeah.
The timing of the lights to make it safer for pedestrians. Um,
Yeah.
Compliance issues, you
Hmm.
know, are
Okay.
always a concern, and we hired a new compliance officer. It's working out very well. Um,
Oh, great.
the police force, there's always improvement there, which takes more coverage and more,
Yeah.
which costs more money. And figuring
Yes.
out
Yes.
we have, since I've been in office, added one police officer,
Oh, that's great.
and that that's helped.
Hmm. Hmm.
But yeah, and our local businesses would like to see some help there.
Hmm. Hmm. Okay. Well, that's great. So safety and, you know, local business, you know, stuff that's important, right? What are your plans? And this is something that I've asked, you know, all candidates in Columbia County because it's become a prevalent thing that is creeping in to our communities is homelessness. You know, what do you think about the homeless population coming in, and what are your thoughts and plans for handling that?
Well, it's a huge issue,
Yeah,
and there's many causes for homeless, and I'm hoping that the next governor will address it and
yeah,
address each cause. I mean, if it was as simple as more affordable housing, we could
yeah,
build houses and shelters, which we need to do,
yeah,
and we want to do, and do that in
yeah,
Clatskanie also. But we
yeah.
have the drug problem and
Hmm.
the mental illness problem,
Hmm.
and then some people choose it as a lifestyle.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a big issue. Clascanite doesn't have the resources to correct
Hmm.
it, so we're going to need to work and ask and beg for our new governor to lead us in
Yeah,
that direction.
yeah.
And Clascanite, when we do, we're Highway 30,
Hmm.
so and there's a lot of people that homeless that go from Astoria, Portland, Astoria,
Yeah.
and stop off in Clascanite. Our
Hmm.
deputies are very good about identifying them,
Hmm.
working with them, trying to
Yeah.
see if we can get support, if there's mental help needed. Uh,
Hmm.
the manager at Soul Haven's also good about helping us if they want a home, to try to help find them a home.
Yeah.
She's worked with us and stuff, but
Okay.
basically we just monitor them. It's not illegal to be homeless. It's not a crime
Yeah.
to be homeless,
Yes.
and we have to remember that. But
Yeah.
basically help them and try to find them someplace that they can get help.
Yeah, yeah.
And yeah, it's scary.
Mm-hmm. I
So
agree. I agree.
it's sad.
It is very heart-wrenching, isn't it?
It's very frustrating that it's got to this point.
Yeah, yeah. Um, Thank you for sharing that. I wanted to ask you something that when I'm doing, research about interviewing people and their positions in leadership and the representation they have in our state and communities, is I research, what do they do? What is a mayor? What is a state rep and what do they do and what does that entail? And I was thinking of, what is a mayor? And the thing that I ran across was, is a mayor in a weak setting, and this doesn't mean like they're a weak person, but is the mayor setting in a weak role, or is it in a strong role? And this really is determined by the community that they're in, correct? And so I just wanted to
Yeah.
ask you about that.
Yes, we're in a weak setting. We
Okay.
have what is what most small towns have, probably 98% of them, is a council manager, and the manager is the executive of the city, pretty much runs the city. The council is the legislative branch. We're a lot like board of directors for a business. We kind of oversee. Instead of representing stockholders, we represent the people of Clatskanie, the citizens, overseeing the city. The mayor's position is he is a counselor,
Yeah.
full voting counselor, just like the others. The only difference between a mayor and a counselor is the mayor chairs the meeting, that's his responsibility. And the mayor is also responsible for representing the city in all ceremonial events. So when I'm out in public, I don't get to be Bob. I have to be Mayor of Clatskanie.
Yeah. Mayor Bob.
Yes.
Right? That is a great explanation, and I really appreciate that because being part of being engaged as a citizen is knowing what people do and figuring that out and seeing what our role is. What are your plans to keep Clatskanie? It's a small town. I have to share that, like, when I was in kindergarten, I lived there, and the population was 1850. And what did you say that the population is today?
I think 1876.
So 26 people change here, right? I know it's not the same exact people, but just that the population, it's small town, right? What is like your plans or thoughts about growing Clatskanie's economy while keeping it that small town culture feel?
Well, the port is our little jewel. It's close by, and we're
Mhm.
hoping for industry there, which will give us, the county tax money, which, you know, it's, government is no different than everybody else. You
Yeah.
need money to make the world go round,
Yes.
and that would create jobs, and it would create business, especially during this construction period for our
Mhm.
local businesses.
Mhm.
Um, there's a housing development that is being proposed and could bring in about 45 units there. So that
Yeah.
would add some growth to us.
Mhm.
It
Mhm.
seems, Sharrie, that when I was in high school, we had 80 students in my class, and now they have 40. And we've built,
Wow.
there's a lot more houses in the area. It's just families are smaller
Yeah.
and stuff. We don't have the 14 or 15 children in most families like we had
Yeah.
when I was growing up. So
Right.
yeah, and you need growth. You need a certain amount of growth. I don't think we're ever going to lose our, you know, rural culture or
Yeah.
size or anything. Class and I, we just don't have the room for it.
Yeah.
But we need growth.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah, I really appreciate you sharing all this. I so appreciate you taking the time, Bob, out of your busy day and sharing a bit about yourself, who you are and your thoughts and ideas for Clatskanie and running for reelection. And so I just want to say thank you so much. And when I interview somebody, I post, how to get a hold of them and where to find about, events or things that are coming up. And Bob was like, you know what, Sherry, I don't have a website. I'm not on social media. And you gave me your email, and I'm going to post that. And so I'm going to be posting that. And you said anytime you're out and about, just walk up to you and talk, and you appreciate that. So thank you so much for joining me today. And I wish you good luck.
Yeah. Oh, and I'm in the phone book, and you can call me 24/7.
Hey, and there's that.
That's
I
that.
love it. I love it. Thank you so much, Bob. You take care and have a good one.
Yep. Thank you. Bye.
Okay, thank you. Bye bye.